sunny and warm, and I'm trying to have like a little bit of like festivity.
I saw this Christmas tree here, and I was like,
my kids wanted to put it up.
I was like, is
already.
it Christmas?
Yeah.
I love it. It's good.
Well, my ex-husband's American, and in their culture in the Midwest. Okay, I sense it. It's true. They love putting the Christmas tree already up and ready to go on Thanksgiving, so that when the family's there, the Christmas tree is up.
Okay.
And so we always did it like the tail end of the first week of December.
Yeah, I agree. It's always after Thanksgiving.
Oh, usually. Yeah, you need a little break, and then you get all the stuff out of the storage.
The kids like it.
They like it,
It's festive. You got
and it's a little tree.
Have it up.
Like, do it, whatever.
Have it up. Yeah. Am I in the shot here if I go back or forward?
Okay, yeah.
I'm good?
Okay.
Yes.
Either way?
I think we're sitting close enough. We have a wide shot, and then
Okay.
he's going to kind of move the camera.
Perfect.
Ոնց ուզում եք ես աթորից ծայրից եմ էլի վերցե։
Yeah,
In
it's
the
at
edge.
the very edge of your chair is there, and then everything else is
Perfect.
How you can feel free.
Perfect. Okay, so I can go forward or back.
No
and I get a
problem,
shot.
yes.
No problem, yeah.
Because two cameras.
Are you going to give an intro? Are we both going to give an intro?
I think we should both. Just
Yeah. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
At the beginning you
Kinda-
speaking or
It's I'd say
Doesn't
you.
matter.
Or I
For
think
me, doesn't matter. We can do it.
if եթե դուք եք հյուրը ինձ թվում է ինքը բաց մանի։
Okay.
Вообще-то տենց է էլի։
Kind of երկուսս էլ անում ենք,
Yeah.
որտեվ ինքն էլ հաղորդում ունի, ես էլ հաղորդում
I
ունի։
think honestly, and maybe an intro would be like, Mike, it's so cool to finally connect, whatever, this, that, and then we can just get into why we're here and what we're doing, like what the whole thing is.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah. we can
Doesn't
do
necessarily
that.
have to be like, oh, this is Mike, he has a blah, he's the...
Yeah, exactly. Okay,
This is
I
gonna be
agree.
both of us.
Okay, cool. Mic'd up, and then do you want me to mention your last name?
Sure.
Last
Yeah,
name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Matt, esi video ara, I'll edit it later. Matt Gone will have the intro like a little teaser. Check?
Sense եք չէ ուզում։
Whatever you want.
Got my sense. Doesn't matter. Ոնց որ սիրուն ա։
Video անեմ թե photo?
Video. Okay. All right. And I always have the best bloopers with my Candid Coffee interviews because I have such a hard time like getting the engine started. I'm always like,
Oh, yeah. I feel you.
yeah.
I feel you. Been there before.
Yeah. So, okay, we're at my house. Candid Coffee and Mic'd Up Podcast are collaborating. We've talked about doing this for a really long time, and we couldn't set the date.
Yeah.
So, Mike Gabriel and Christine Kamarian, and I'm really excited for the conversations we're gonna have.
Happy to be here. I'm so excited we finally have connected, and I think we're gonna have an awesome conversation, a natural one,
Very.
open.
Very.
So I think it's gonna be fun. Get to know
I'm
each
excited.
other a little bit, so your audience can know about you, my audience can know about you, audience can know about me. So it'll be fun.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. I love that you're like Armenian, but you're very, very, very Americanized because you've been here. Your family's been here a couple generations.
Three generations.
3 generations. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like the combination between, my views on certain things and yours, and I think we have a lot in common because we have had other conversations in the past, and it led us up to this interview. But I'm very curious to see if we see eye to eye on everything.
Well, we've got some topics we're
Yeah.
gonna be talking about. Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
think
cool.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Stay tuned. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you. Okay, yalla, let's do it. Let's do it. How's the coffee?
It's
Strong
good.
enough?
It's good. Yeah.
Chan?
Yeah, it's good. Thank you.
So I love having coffee. I just loved the idea of people sitting with Armenian coffee because it's something about like having like paklava on the table or like chocolates and then having a cup of coffee, and then somehow it just turns on this like flow of like, well, I gotta tell you, I gotta vent to you, and
Yeah.
I've always had that like.
Does that take you back to your childhood at all? Like, did you see your parents doing any of that, or your
Everybody
aunts?
was doing
Yeah.
it. And it was such a comfort thing for us. Every time we would go over, Koffee denem.
Yeah, for sure.
So it was like 17 cups of coffee
Yeah.
between going over to your Morkur's house and then your uncle's house and then your grandma's house or whatever it is. It's such a past
And then the chatter begins.
Yes. Yes,
good.
exactly. And then sometimes they're
Smart.
like, okay, go.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, come here.
Yeah,
we want to
yeah,
know something. Depending on.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So how was it like for you? Like who did you grow up with here? I don't think I ever asked you about siblings or anything like that.
4 sisters and a brother. Yeah,
Damn.
4 sisters and a brother.
And you're which number?
I'm 6. I'm 6 of 6.
Wow.
Yeah,
you're
6
the
of 6.
baby.
I'm 39 years old.
Okay.
And my oldest sister's, I think, is 52.
Wow.
So everything in between.
I had no idea.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what's cool about it is third generation ran company, family owned business. And now my 4th generation is going in as my nephews are coming in the business as well. And we're all in the business together. So all siblings are together. My dad comes in every day. Grandfather started the business in 1939.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat. It's a ton of history.
Yeah.
On my grandfather's side, 3rd generation born American. On my mom's side, she was actually born in Stuttgart, Germany, so in a displaced persons camp. As my grandfather, on her side, her father survived the genocide. So he was a kid. He was stuck in a tree watching people get murdered and crucified, and then he ends up
Your mom's grandfather.
father.
Father. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at the time, he's like, they don't really know what year he was born, but he's obviously in the States. You know, he comes to the States. And I'm coming back from an LA Kings game. This is back in 2002, 2003. And he always used to wear this little hat, and he'd walk to the church. And the walk to the church was like a mile and a half. And he's 96 years old, in tremendous shape. So I'm making a left turn to go to my house, and I see a man on the ground, and I see the hat on the ground. And I see police officers around him, and I see a car that more than likely hit him. And so I go home, and I know what happened, and my mom just gets a phone call and says, "Let's go. We're going to the hospital. You know, Bobby, call him Bobby. Bobby got hit by a car. You know, let's go to, I think it was USC medical." So internal bleeding, passes away. But to
At
think
96,
probably 97 or 98. I mean, he was gardening, he was hiking, he was walking, he just go to the church and play backgammon with his buddies. You know, that's where he was going. And but to think that he survived the genocide and went through all of that in his life, and then that's how he went. You know, it's pretty amazing. But still,
so it was somebody
life.
who hit him with a car?
Yeah, the guy claimed that the sun was in his eyes, and he didn't see him, and he hit him. And prior to that, a couple weeks ago, he actually told us that light is too short
to walk.
Yeah, I'm fast.
Across
He
the
says.
street.
Yeah. I'm fast, but
Oh my
not fast
God.
enough for me, because there's a chance somebody's gonna hit me because I don't have enough time to get there.
Wow.
And then that happened. Yeah.
It's got like an eerie premonition
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. But still, I mean,
Yeah, but that's a long life to live. Very long life. It's incredible.
Chris, think about if he doesn't survive the genocide.
Yeah.
I'm not here. My family's not here.
Of
My
course.
parents don't meet. I mean, how things work out is tremendous.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's so many stories like
Powerful.
that. There's so many amazing stories of like, if it wasn't for so and so,
Yeah.
my great grandmother, my great grandfather, or whatever it is, some Turkish family took him in, or the nearest relief took an orphan and
Yeah.
brought him to the States, or took him to Greece, or wherever
Yeah.
it was, then we wouldn't be here today. I'm one of those stories. I'm literally getting goosebumps as I talk about it. You're one of those stories, and I think that's incredible. And I think every single Armenian has that story. They just have to kind of dig it up and
Yeah.
like maybe record their grandmother talking about it before that grandmother either passes away or has Alzheimer's or something. You know.
Yeah, for sure. We have him on tape.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to our school. He was talking to the kids about his whole experience, and that's all on tape.
Oh,
which
that's
is
amazing.
super cool. Yeah.
That's amazing. You should definitely post that
Yeah.
and share it.
Yeah, for sure. My dad's side, my grandmother was like my second mom. Grandparents were my parents built a home, and my dad told his parents, "We're not building this home unless you guys come live with us."
Oh.
Yeah, so they were like the second pair of parents for me. My grandmother was amazing.
Yeah.
I actually had a dream about her the other day. It was pretty eerie.
Wow.
She was like a best friend. She was amazing. She died at 99 and a half years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So many stories
Incredible
like that I'm hearing.
genes. Yeah. But it's a quick story. She was in it, and I saw her face, and I said, "Oh man, I really miss her. I really miss her, because she was really a special person." And the premise of the dream was almost like, Mike, you're only here for a little bit of time. While you're here, do something big. It was really strange. And then
Recently, just randomly, you had that dream?
Wednesday night. Yeah.
Did you write it down?
I didn't write it down. No. Should I? Do you usually
I
write
keep a
things
little
down?
thing next to my bed because I very seldom have dreams, and when I do, they're extremely heavy, and they make me feel very emotional and heavy when I wake up. So I try to write it down because instantaneously you forget so much of that dream, and then you'll be driving and you'll be like, oh wait a minute, I remembered something or whatever it is.
I have a lot of dreams.
You do? I
Yeah.
don't have them.
Really?
At least they say that they've tracked people's like wiring and brain activity when they're sleeping. They say you have them all the time.
Right.
But I never.
Are you a deep sleeper?
No, I'm a very light
That's
sleeper.
probably why.
I'm an extreme. It's so annoying how much of a light sleeper
Doesn't
I am.
it trip you out that you're hallucinating? I mean, more times than not by dreaming. Doesn't it trip you out? You're not on any hallucin, but you're hallucinating.
You are hallucinating.
How
You're
weird is
seeing
that?
things and you're feeling things.
Isn't
You're
that trip you
feeling
out?
that like anxiety and that like when you tense up,
Yeah.
your body's tensing up.
Yeah.
Because your brain is telling you you're feeling tense, but you're completely asleep. I recently found out about sleep paralysis. That's fucking scary. I know 2 of my close friends who went through it, and
What exactly is it?
so what happens is you are in a very deep sleep, and something wakes you up where you're like this. You kind of jolt, and then your body's paralyzed because you cannot get up, but your brain is awake and you see things. You also hallucinate during that as well. It's like you're dreaming, but you're sleeping, but you're not sleeping, and you can't control it. You know how sometimes you're like, oh, I want to go back to sleep so I can see what happens.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to see more. That doesn't happen. It's more of this it's like someone sitting on your chest and you can't get up.
Man.
It's very scary.
That's interesting.
And my friend told me that she opened her eyes and she knows that her husband's behind her because she was sleeping in a fetal position. Her husband's behind her, and she's trying to say, "Ken, wake me up! Ken, wake me up!" And she's saying it. When you speak in your head, you can hear your voice, but you're not saying it.
Yeah.
So she had to convince herself to calm down and wake herself up because she was in this paralysis state. And sometimes you could see like a dark figure or like a shadow or like perhaps even like ghostly things, depending on how much you believe in that stuff. But I mean, it is in our brain, right?
Yeah.
So it was
Dreams
very
are
crazy,
trippy.
so trippy. I want to know more about it. I
do
feel like
too.
we've never even tapped into it, not even a little bit.
Let me tell you, and I've had dreams, and I dream a lot, and I've had dreams that come to fruition within like 6 to 8 months.
Really?
I swear.
About yourself or others?
A situation.
Really?
Yeah, a situation. The last week it happened to me. We were at a concert, Elton John concert.
Okay.
Yeah, and for some reason I dreamt that I was at Dodger Stadium, but I was at this concert, but I didn't know what concert I was at. But I remember just kind of looking up and like looking at the crowd, and then boom, it was like a deja vu moment where I said, "Oh my God, I dreamt of this moment," and that's happened at least a couple handful of times.
Yeah.
So what is that? What does that? You know what that tells me? That tells me things are just meant to be.
Right.
To let go.
Right.
Just do
like
your
they're
thing.
gonna happen.
You stressing out about it and you being anxious about it does nothing. It just eats you up alive because you keep thinking about it. We're all good storytellers, aren't we? We're always thinking about what's going to happen. Our stories, seldomly, usually, are bad. We're always thinking about something that's bad that's going to happen to us.
Yeah.
It's
What
never
if this happens?
always.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you have children, I don't, and I'm sure you worry about them every single day.
Every day.
You worry about yourself every single day. If I leave, what's going to happen to my kids? They're going to school. What's going to happen if they go to school and something happens?
Right.
Every single day.
Every day.
And they say 85% of the times that we think of things that we're worried about, that we're anxious about, they don't come true. So why?
Because I
Why-
feel like we have this like overwhelming sense of burden and responsibility on our shoulders to be this, like for example, just in the instance of having a child.
Yeah.
It's such an overwhelming feeling of like, I have to make sure this human is okay and is well fed, has clothes on her back, is safe, doesn't get shot at school, doesn't get involved with drugs, doesn't get into the wrong crowd. It is my responsibility because that kid did not ask to be in this world. I brought him into this world. and I have to be responsible for them. And that's such an annoying feeling because there have been times where there have been shootings, and I'm totally for guns.
Yeah.
I love guns. But, and I live in a beautiful neighborhood, and my kids go to a safe school, but I've dropped them off, and I've cried on my way to work because I'm like, what if something happens? They just walk in and fucking blast everybody. What am I going to do? There's nothing I can do as an adult that I'm supposed to protect them. But things like, well, where is this relationship going to go? What am I going to get a promotion? Things like that I don't really worry too much about because, like, I'm an adult, they're an adult, we have to work together to make things great for us, and if it doesn't, then we go our separate ways for a job or a relationship.
Your biggest fear are your kids?
The well-being of my kids.
So prior to you having kids?
I was so fearless.
Okay.
In a way, I'm still very, very much a risk taker. But for example, I always wanted to go skydiving. I wanted to do bungee jumping. I loved going to Six Flags. I loved being on a motorcycle. I absolutely love that adrenaline rush. But ever since I had my oldest, after a few months, I had this daunting feeling of like, what if I get into an accident and I die? What's going to happen to my baby? Who's going to take care of her? I mean, I know my mom's there, and my ex-husband is a great father. But you just have this, like, what if something happens to me? What if something happens to me?
Yeah.
And I would rather just be safe and not go on a motorcycle or jump out of an airplane, because I'm like, at least let me wait until they're a little bit older and I could still feed that,
Yeah. Does that bother
desire.
you? Does that bother you?
It bothers me that I'm not that same person anymore.
Because you're holding back from living.
Yes.
You're holding back from doing the things you really, really want to do.
Yes.
Because if you're thinking about it, that means you want to do it.
I do want to do it.
Yeah.
I do want to
How old
do
are your
it.
kids?
9 and 6.
And your ex-husband, how do you guys do that? Is it?
It's a 50-50 thing.
Okay.
Yeah. He lives in Porter Ranch. We co-parent very well.
Good.
He's a very, very present father, which I always wanted that. No matter what, just please be a present father, especially for girls and for guys too. I mean, I joked about it. I put it on my stories that, when you have an absent father, it fucks up anybody. But like, especially for girls, I feel like, as cliche as it sounds, and I remember watching Chris Rock when I was like a little bit younger, and they're like, if the girl ends up in clear heels, then she didn't get enough hugs when she was
Like
younger.
that.
You know what I mean? Like, it's true though. They're always searching for like a father type of
Not enough
figure,
hugs,
and they end up choosing the wrong men, and then that leads to abuse, and that leads to poor choices, and that leads to poor quality of life with your partner. You don't need to get married, but just make better choices of like who's in your life. And I think having a father in your life makes you so much more grounded, confident, like you're like, I got this. My dad raised me this way. I know if I mess up, they're always gonna have my back. Like, I have that relationship with them that I can talk to them about dating or sex or drugs or going to a rave or staying over at a friend's house or like ditching school.
Honestly, just picking friends.
Yeah.
Just picking friends. I mean, parents are vital to kids, to all of us growing up. Parents. I'm talking about a mother and a father. Like that's a big deal because you both play a part in kids' lives.
Oh yes.
And I've said it hundreds of times. I'll say it again. I don't know if you've heard it, but we're lucky enough to have good family, and that's luck. That's pure luck because you're born with. You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. Exactly.
So your friends, you get to pick. So your friends. The ones that you pick are extremely vital, right? Those friends you have to pick, and they got to be right. But how do you pick them is because of how you were grown, right? What your foundation was like, what your parents were like. So they're able to teach you what kind of friends to pick.
Yes.
Right. So
but
that's
they have
vital.
to be present in your life and have those conversations
100%.
with you and go camping with you or shopping with you, whatever it may be.
Your ex-husband, Caucasian, and how was that with your parents? When you guys started to date and eventually get married?
It was, well, we didn't rush into it, even though we were extremely in love. And
It's sad, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's an Armenian thing, right?
Yeah.
Like the Armenian, it sucks to say, but the Armenian way is you got to marry an Armenian.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is a little bit different. So.
Yes, it was different, and it was very unusual for them because my parents migrated here. And they didn't even think that would be an option because they're like, we're coming to LA. There are so many Armenians. She's gonna have a choice of like guys at school or like college or making friends and meeting a nice Armenian boy and making a nice Armenian family and everything like that. But like Annie, like we talked about this, now, and even before now, the minute that we solidified our relationship, and I said, look, and I told my dad, and my dad's way more grounded and like logical and less emotional than my mother. He's like, it's going to be extremely difficult for you guys to sustain this marriage. You're not even going to start from zero. You're going to start from a negative, because as much as you love each other, there is going to be a cultural difference and the way you've brought up and your lifestyles. So he foresaw kind of possibly where we would have ended up, even though we had a pretty good run.
How long was the run?
With dating 10 years, married for 7.
Okay. And was the relationship, was the marriage good right off the bat?
Yes.
Right off the bat?
Yes.
And you had you have 2 daughters?
Mm-hmm.
You had your first daughter pretty quick, right?
Yeah, about a year and a half later.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did it get better?
It was very good for the first few years, and then after about 4, it started to have a decline.
Why do you think that was?
Because our differences were really surfacing more. I was becoming more of the person that I wanted to be. He was trying to find himself as well financially and with his job. We always had issues with finances. I was always a spender. He wasn't. He had a stable job or career. I didn't. I dropped out of college, then I went to beauty school, then I didn't know what I wanted to do with my career, then I did go back to school, then, I got a job at the courthouse, which I really loved, but then I didn't want to continue it because I was like, this isn't enough for me, I want to do this, and then it was just like taking these little steps back and forth and sideways and whatever on a chessboard, and you're like, are you coming or are you going this way? And I was like, I want to do this, and he's like, well, I don't really want you to do that. And I'm like, well, I'm not really happy with that. And then after a while, I took responsibility for not communicating things that I wanted and kind of shutting down slowly. And it was a slow and steady process, No one just wakes up and they're like, all right, I'm out, It's just that some people don't talk about these things that are bothering them, even to their friends and family, and then it starts to fester and like kind of boil over.
100% wears on you.
And it wears on you. And, I made mistakes. He asked me a while back, because he's from the Midwest, he's like, how about we leave LA, let's go to Arizona, let's go to Texas, let's go somewhere where it's like cheaper to live. And like, I had to deal with the fact and make peace with the fact that maybe if I had said yes, things would have been different, maybe better, maybe worse. We weren't seeing eye to eye on a lot of things because I was so protected and in this bubble of like being near my family and growing up with a silver spoon and like being very sheltered and protected, and like I didn't know how to like balance my checkbook and like budget my money. I was a good wife, I'm a good daughter, I'm a good mom, I'm a good friend, but I was like very domesticated, and he was just trying to hold everything together for the both of us.
Did you have your second daughter when you guys were when you had some friction?
We didn't have that much friction, and we weren't trying to have a baby to save the marriage by any means. We wanted to have a second one. And ironically, the first one wasn't planned and the second one wasn't. It was. And then so the first one was really easy and the second one was really hard. And then so I quickly realized that after having my second, I was like, I don't really like doing this as much as I thought I would.
The marriage part?
The children part.
Oh, the children part.
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Phew.
And I know that's really heavy.
Yeah. So, you do now?
I really loved doing it with my first one, and everything was so easy. I was like, this is a piece of cake. Like, she's such a good kid. And I did everything. I made food, I breastfed, like, I went on hikes with her, I lost the baby weight, I, like, got my shit together, I was a good homemaker, I was cooking dinners and making cakes and feeding the baby and putting him to sleep. Like, I was doing everything, and he was helping me very much. But also the child was very easy to rear. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, enough time has gone by. She needs a sibling. We want to have another one. And so we made the decision, and we were living with my parents at the time. So we just moved in with my parents. And that was a decision we both made. And I said to him, if you're going to make a change in your career, this is the time to do it, because we can live with my parents, they can help us out, we can raise our daughter, the one we have, plus maybe have another one, they'll help us out, and they did. But he went into a career which was like strictly commission based, and it was a really big gamble for us to do that. And so we got pregnant, and I was glowing, I was happy, like I was just like, let me have this baby, let her be like,
Thinking it's going to be as easy as the first one.
correct. Yeah. And my older one was elated, she was a wonderful big sister, still is. I had so much help, and I was living in my parents' home, so I was like, it was my turf, you know, it wasn't like I was going over to my in-laws' house.
Decision being with your parents financially?
Yes.
Financial decision.
Yeah.
Okay. You
Okay.
guys just trying to make things work.
We're still trying to make things work.
Okay. How old were you at the time?
I was, at that time I was 29.
Okay.
I had Zoe by the time I was 30.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he about the same age?
Same age.
Okay.
We're the exact same age.
Okay.
So, and mind you, he has no help or, you know, financial or emotional support from his parents. His parents are very divorced, kind of all over the place. Dad's in the Midwest, so he was always been like, I'm independent, I'm by myself, no one's gonna help me out, kind of thing. So, and that was one of the things I, you know, really loved about him, because he was so mature and like well adjusted in that department. And so we moved in, and I'm pregnant, and we have the baby. We come home from the hospital. I'm doing everything I can. He's doing everything he can. We're in a 3-bedroom house. My parents are in one room. Me and him and the baby are in one room, and then the other room is for my daughter. And so things are still okay. You know, we go to the grocery store, make dinner. We're still kind of cohabitating with my parents. My brother and his wife are coming and going. Lots of people are coming and going. It's a very like lively, festive, Chorovat barbecue every weekend kind of situation at my parents' house.
Yeah.
And there's so much love. But I was, at that time, I stayed home with the baby for 6 months, and then I decided to take a job at the court.
Doing what at the court?
A records assistant for the criminal court, actually. It was really fun. But then I, even though I was not suicidal, I was not harming anyone, I was not violent, I was not manic, I was not screaming, I was not doing anything, I was just kind of robotically like living. I fell into a very deep depression after my second baby. And I didn't realize how severe it was, because I was like, oh, it's okay, I just have lack of sleep, you know, like I'm a new mom again, like I'm overwhelmed, it's okay, it's gonna pass, because the first one was like a breeze, no problems in that department whatsoever. So I was like, it'll be the same with this one. But then after I went to my doctor and, you know, had all the plumbing checked and things like that, of course they give you like a wellness check as well mentally. And they're like, how are you feeling? You know, how are you and the baby? Do you like spending time with her? Blah, blah, blah. They're like asking me all these questions. And they're asking me questions that I'm answering. And when I was saying those answers out loud to the doctor, I was like, well, girl, this sounds like depression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, what?
Yeah.
So, because I thought, you know, I had this idea of like this depressed mom, you know, drowning her kids or like, I don't know, leaving them and like abandoning them. And I didn't want to do any of those things, but I didn't want to be around anybody. I wanted to take a shower. I wanted someone to take the baby while I took a shower, and I wanted to go to bed and I wanted to sleep, and I didn't want to hear crying, I didn't want to hear the TV, I didn't want anybody asking me to make coffee, I didn't want to make dinner, I didn't want to go to the grocery store, I didn't want to do anything.
Are you working at the time, or are you on maternity leave?
I was working at the time.
Okay.
At the court.
And it's hard for you to get up in the morning and go to work and actually put in work?
My work was an escape for me.
I was going to say it's more therapeutic at that point.
I would go to work,
Yeah.
I would immediately go to the gym and work out and lose all that weight, and I would use the gym and work as a vessel of like relieving my stress, escaping from home, not having.
But that still made you feel down and depressed? Really? Because you were thinking about coming home and maybe seeing your husband, or the situation and your kids?
Everybody, my parents, my husband, my kids, them pulling me in different directions. Come do this. I want this. Mommy, I'm hungry. I need a bath. What about my toys? Can we go to the store? Like that, I was dreading all of that. And yes, going to the gym gives you a rush of dopamine, like puts you in a good mood. It was a great stress reliever for me. I loved it, but I was like, oh fuck, I gotta go home now. And I was like, and I would sit in my driveway, and I don't want to get out of the car. I don't want to go inside. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want everybody. And you can't do that. You go to your room. What's wrong? Can I bring you something? Are you sick? What's the matter? The baby's crying. And I
do you think if you're on your own with your husband and 2 kids, it would have been easier or better?
So that's where eventually it went. I said, we need to get out of here. And it wasn't an ultimatum, and it wasn't me like, oh, I'm great, you're the problem, we need to leave, you need to have enough money for us to get out of here. He saw that I was like, declining. And he's like, well, we can't afford to leave, and I don't know how you're gonna handle it, and you're so disconnected from me, and physically there was nothing for a while. The desire wasn't even there. And I'm very inclined to do that on a regular situation. So it was very, very disconnected. And I felt terrible for him because he was so isolated, being in my home where I grew up, in my parents' home, around them, feeling like he had to go sleep on the couch. And
I mean, for sure. See, yeah, it's a tough situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to piss him off. But at the same time, if you want to get out of a situation, the end goal is to stay with your family and to take care of your kids. But if you want to get out of a situation about with leaving the parents' home, man, you got to work. You got to put the work in, right? And you got to have the drive, and you got to just figure it out. Because if that's what you want to do, if it's 2 or 3 jobs, if it's 7 days a week, if it's 14-hour days.
Yeah. And he had the drive to do his work, and the amount of like cold calls he had to make, and the amount of doors he had to knock on to be a life insurance salesperson. And I know that it's not stable, and it's like 10 grand one month and 0 the next, that kind of thing. He saw how much I was pulling away, and after a couple of months of having that conversation, it took very little time. I was like, look, if you want to go drive Uber, you can. And I lost my job as well at the court. That was another thing. So that I have spent the last 4 years post-divorce really scolding myself a lot for the things that I didn't do or did or didn't say or said. Because I was either very excited about having a baby or starting a new career, or I was completely in a shithole. There was no in between. Because
you were probably holding back and you didn't want to communicate?
Yes.
Yeah, see, that's it's a cultural thing.
That.
It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I'm the same way.
Really?
Of course. Most of us are. And it.
But that if you speak about it, you could maybe resolve the issue.
Yes, but see, it's a past thing. Because in the past, when I would speak up, it would right in the face. But nowadays, I'm learning that you got to let go of the past, and if there's something on your mind, you got to talk about it. Like you have to talk about it. You have to talk about it. Like it's a very important thing, because that'll eat us up inside.
It does.
It'll destroy you, right? And you found out about that.
Yeah.
So.
And now, like, I haven't had a stable or consistent, not even stable, like, oh, it's good or bad stable, just like consistent relationship for me to even utilize and put into effect all the things that I've learned. That I'm like, I want to do this different. I want to speak up more about this. I want to be honest about that. Blah blah blah. And I have to some degree about, like, if a certain young man finds me interesting enough to maybe pursue, I'm like, look, we gotta get blah 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 things out of the way.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's talk about it. I know it's uncomfortable, but let's talk about it. You're gonna feel a lot better once we're done. We're either gonna be on the same page, or we're gonna bye.
And that's the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
It's the best way of doing it. And that's what happens when you get a little bit older, you get more mature, you
wiser,
grow, you get wiser, you then tend to figure things out.
Yeah.
That's
and you're
the cool part of
so
life.
much more prepared and, like, okay with having those conversations.
Yeah.
The ones that make you cringe.
Well, you don't want to fall for somebody and then
Right.
find out later
right.
that, wait a
or
second.
him
this
thinking
is
that
a
I'm
big-
going to give him something that
Sure.
I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Like, having kids is a deal breaker for
yeah.
me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it.
When did you lose your job? In 18?
Mm-hmm.
And why? Why did they let you go?
I was under probation, and
Like a 90-day?
no, a year.
A year
A
probation.
year. I was with the court a year. I was 2 weeks shy of my 1-year anniversary, and they let me go.
Wow. And why do you think?
I think there was some bureaucracy going on. There was a judicial assistant that did have a problem with me because I was very good friends with the judge that she was working for. Mind you, it was a woman. If it was a man, I would have been like,
Yeah.
they would have been like, oh my God,
Yeah, of
why
course.
is she friends with this guy? Blah, blah. But it was a female judge. Nothing weird or salacious about it. There were times where I was at work and I was excited to be there, and there were times where I was completely like this. Like just zoning out.
Because of what was at home?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's the worst.
Yeah.
When you're working and you have distractions,
Mm-hmm. Or you just can't focus
it's
on
the
it.
worst.
And I know we all dick around at work sometimes, but there were times where I was just like sitting there and they were like, Christine, hello. And I just wasn't there. I was like that at home. Until we filed for divorce and we went our separate ways, I worked on myself every day, getting myself out of that, spending quality time with my kids that I wanted to put in. I felt like a weight was lifted off of me. I told my parents to give me space. Eventually I moved here, got this all going for me. I'm very happy now. I've got my dogs. I have a routine that doesn't involve having in-laws or my parents or invasive
For sure.
things in
So
our
important.
culture.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've made peace. He moved on. He remarried. He's expecting a child.
Wow.
So a
How
lot's
does that
happened
feel?
in
How
4
does that
years.
feel for you?
It feels okay because I'm truly happy for him.
Good.
And there was no jealousy. There was no jealousy. In fact, I was the one who pulled the plug, like, finally, like, and said, this is it. And it didn't take long. There was no yo-yoing, coming back and forth. I want to be with you. Let's make it work. And we went to therapy for a little while. That was a shit show.
What was the shit show about it?
He just wasn't receptive about it. I like therapy. I would love to continue to go to therapy for myself. I did see a therapist on my own. I hiked, I worked out, I used physical activity, boxing, whatever, to put me in a better
Yeah.
mental state, and I'm great. But we at least did let's go to couples therapy so that we could check that off our list and be like, we tried this too, it didn't work, okay, bye.
Yeah.
But no, we're okay. We don't have any animosity, we don't fight, we didn't have any assets to divide, we had no money, we were broke as a joke. And he went his way, I went mine, and very quickly he dated and eventually found the woman he's with now, who is Armenian again.
Kidding.
Yeah.
This guy's got something for the
Yeah.
Armenians, huh?
I mean, we take care of our men, when it comes to the kitchen and all that, and the housekeeping and all that stuff. But, I mean, okay, I have my faults.
Yeah.
I made my mistakes. I said some pretty terrible things
To him?
to him. And I became so cold. And I'm very much a raw nerve. I'm a very emotional, passionate person.
That's why I'm confused that your communication skills lack.
Yeah.
That you hold that stuff back because
Yeah.
you're a very raw person.
Yeah.
I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I've always been, like you said, a very raw person and very honest and just so, like, I don't care, I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say. But it was something about the confrontation of breaking off something that you had with someone for a very long time, knowing that you're going to be the bearer of bad news. You're going to say to him, I'm done, I don't want this, I'm sorry, I can't. And the whole, let's try to make it work. What did I do? How can we fix this? Let's talk about it. And like my mind was made up kind of thing. And it was unfair to him to go through all these scenarios and thoughts in my head without even him knowing that those thoughts are happening, and then I just shut off the light and bye. You know, and leave him in this dark room.
For sure.
It was really heavy on both of
The
us.
stuff that you told him, you said it was kind of rough, like the stuff that you mentioned him. Was it more about him not being able to bring the bread home, some money home?
I told him where his faults were. I told him that I wish things were different on my end as well. I told him the things that I wish I had done differently. Okay. I don't talk about this, but there was a time where at the tail end of that relationship coming to an end, before we even signed the paperwork, before we even went to a mediator, I was seeing someone who was an old friend of mine from high school, which was kind of accelerating the divorce process.
Sure.
In the sense of like, I was already so down and low that it was a comfort thing for me to go and talk to someone I've known for my whole life. And then that comfort turned into something else.
Yeah. And
so I had to confess to that as well.
How did he feel about that? What did he say? Didn't like it. Yeah. How did that relationship work with your high school friend afterwards? Kind of just diminished?
We still keep in touch.
Yeah.
He, funny enough, he was expecting his first child and his baby mama was pregnant at the time. So he was dealing with that and I was dealing with this, and we were like venting to each other and trusting each other because we've known each other since high school. And because I had that trust, it was so easy to be in the arms of someone like that.
Well, you guys kind of used each other with your own situations.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, complicated.
Yeah.
Complicated.
Life is very complicated, and
Yeah.
I don't sugarcoat things, and I don't say like, well, I was, a saint and I was such a good homemaker and I was being a really good wife. I was being a really good wife, and he was trying to be a really good husband for a good portion of our marriage, but towards the end you get so cold and distant from each other, and the physical part's not there, and you're mentally checking out, and you're not even telling him you're mentally checking out, and it's unfair to him. But I was kind of just falling back into things that were something that was an escape from me, something that was comforting for me, something that was giving me a sense of breathing new life into me, whether it was, working out or, I started the show, I started modeling.
Yeah.
Everything happened in 2018. My life was like this. But every good thing with the bad happened in 2018.
What'd your parents think when you guys got a divorce?
We finalized that decision while my parents were in Armenia, and we were living in their house because we were having these conversations that we couldn't otherwise have if they were home. And we would never fight and like throw things at each other. It was such a somber discussion. And it was tearful, and it was heartbreaking, and it was not yelling. It was like very, very sad. It wasn't like, oh, you fucking asshole, get out of my... No.
And the kids were around when you guys were having those discussions?
They were not around.
Yeah.
We would have someone come take care of them if they were home, or we would have these discussions on the phone while they were at school, or at home while they were at school, or we would go on a drive. I remember the last conversation we had, we were on a drive, and that was it. That was the last conversation, and I said, you need to pack your shit up and leave by the time mom and dad come back, because I didn't want to deal with the packing and the putting the stuff in the trunk of the car and the crying and the mommy and dad, where's daddy going, and it broke me so much to have that happening.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have it in front of my parents, and I felt so ashamed.
What's important is, fast forward 4 years, you mentioned that he's now remarried with a kid, and you had a smile on your face.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's big.
Yeah.
Because the past is something that we just have to let go.
Yeah.
Like the things that bother us, we just have to let them go.
We do.
So that's big.
Yeah.
That's big on you.
My kids are excited to have a brother.
Wow. That's cool.
There are 4 kids all together now, so there'll be a baby. They're my 2 girls, which I share with my ex-husband, and then his wife has a daughter. So they have a nice blended family.
Do you know the girl? The new girl? The Armenian,
The
new
wife?
Armenian wife?
Yeah, I mean
No, like prior.
No. She wasn't in my circle or
Okay.
anything like
Okay.
that. No. I think he met her through like a work event or
Sure, she's
something
not
like
a cousin or.
that. No.
Usually they are. Usually we'll find a way and be like, you're
So and so's
fifth cousin.
Yeah, there's probably somebody who knows her that knows me, and
That's cool.
or not just knows, but like has some sort of friendship
Yeah.
or relationship to the
Yeah.
family.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're okay.
So how'd you work on yourself? And how long did it take you to work on yourself? So 2018 was a whirlwind for you.
It was a whirlwind.
How did you get back on track in 18 or 19?
So February of 2018, I left the court. May, I started the show, like officially started. By March, I already knew I wanted to start the show. May, I officially like plugged it and we started.
How was your depression after you guys?
I didn't take
called quits?
medication.
Okay, that's good.
None. I refused to. Both of my closest friends, one of them is Edith Alaverjan that I've posted many times, and the other one, her name is Diana Boyajan, and she's a substance and suicide psychologist, substance abuse and drug abuse psychologist, and she went to USC, and all my other girlfriends who are extremely bright psychologists were like, Chris, this is what you need to do. I don't smoke weed, I don't do drugs, I don't take any pharmaceutical stuff. What I did was I worked on myself, a lot of reflecting, a lot of talking to a psychologist, going on hikes, working out, spending quality time that I wanted to spend with my kids, that made me feel that I was a really valuable parent to them, that I felt like I was doing something really good for them. So that not just to make me feel better, like, oh, I did something, I got a little notch on the board of like good mommy, it just things that would make me proud. When I started the show, and I have a few publications over there, but doing things that made me feel like my life was validated completely pulled me out of that dark place.
Because you're doing things for your kids.
For my kids, for myself.
For yourself.
Not for a spouse, not for my parents.
Yeah.
I wanted to have something that gave my life a lot more meaning than just having kids. For me, that was nothing.
Sure.
I was like, anybody can have a kid.
Sure.
And they can. And
Sure.
they do. And they don't take care of their kids. But I was like, so what? I'm a mom. So what? I didn't even finish my bachelor's degree until 2020. I went back to school. I finished that. That was something that I was like, I have to finish.
That's therapeutic.
Yeah, it is.
That's a big deal.
I hated
that makes
it.
You feel good. Yeah.
But I did it because I wanted to finish it, because I had all these units from like Valley College, Glendale, CSUN, blah, blah, blah. My ex-husband and I met each other at Valley College. I was there from CSUN, he was there from UCLA.
Yeah.
And I just, everything was so like left kind of like half-assed. And I wanted something that was more concrete, something with substance.
You want to complete tasks.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
you had like a bunch of incompletes.
Yes. I had a bunch of incomplete things. I figured out how to just be a fucking adult. Like, take care of your bills.
Feels good.
Like, take care of your car, your kids, budget your money. That was big for me. And that was like the things that those were all the things that I had to come to terms with the fact that those were part of me growing out of my marriage, and the fact that my marriage didn't succeed. Taking responsibility for those things that I didn't do.
Did you have any doubts going into your marriage?
No. I was so gung-ho.
Zero doubts?
Zero doubts.
Did he? Do you know if he did?
Not from our conversations, because we were so in love. It was like that forbidden fruit thing.
So you're going to be married for 100 years.
Yeah,
you're going to have a white picket fence. You're going to have a bunch of kids.
Yeah, and we were like, we're going to have 4 kids.
Sure.
Like, everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
We're so in love that we can conquer anything. I think that perception of like those looking at a marriage through rose-colored glasses, I think really people really need to reevaluate that and live with each other. My parents didn't allow me to live with him prior to getting married.
Vacation? Do you guys vacation together at least?
We went a couple of places, we went to the Midwest,
weekends,
we went to like Cancun one time.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I would have liked to live with the next person that if I have something with, and I
Yeah.
should be able to because I'm a grown ass woman and
Yeah.
he's a grown ass man.
Yeah.
We should be able to live together.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Man,
That was a lot.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Okay,
awesome.
good.
Yeah, that's I love.
It's deep. It's
I
heavy.
don't think you've ever mentioned any of that before, right?
No.
Ever. Like the
Not
people
publicly.
who follow you on social media, they don't
No.
really know that side.
They
of
didn't
you.
even know I was getting a divorce when I was going through it, and I wasn't anywhere near, the amount of like reach I had, and my old account got deleted and things like that. But even then, like one day I just signed the paperwork, and there was no like, hey, divorce party, or hey guys, I'm gonna take his last name off of my Facebook account. There was nothing like that.
Of course.
It was very,
Yeah.
very, very hush hush.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea you were married. I had no idea you then got divorced. I had no idea you had kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot of people who didn't know that about you. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, and I
Authentic,
love showing
real.
my kids on my social media.
Yeah.
And I love showing how much I love to cook, or the jokes that make me laugh, or the poems that make me cry, or the people that I admire and love and I cherish. But I don't like to show anybody who's so fragile in my life, like on social media, like on a post where they could go back and look at like, does she have a boyfriend posted on here, or my kids' photos or things. That's why I put it on my stories. It kind of goes away.
Yeah.
People who know me know I have 2 kids.
I'm with you. Social media isn't that for me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not there for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to go searching for that in my social media.
Yeah.
You should be there because you like the content I put, or the things I share that make me happy. I share them because they make me happy.
Yeah.
Because they give me education, because I'm wiser and smarter and happier because of the things that I'm reading, and I'm sharing it on my stories.
For sure. Social media can be it's a monster. We all know.
It could be, yeah.
And it could be such a positive tool to so many people.
Yes.
But most of the time it's being used as a negative tool. Yeah.
Very.
I mean, you go through somebody's
like
comments.
nasty.
Yeah, somebody's
Very
comments. If you're
nasty.
disagreeing with something or
Yeah.
somebody, and it's all just negative hate and
Right.
a lot of grossness.
Yeah.
It's really
And
tough.
I never comment on something that I like. I'll share things and I'll be like, oh, I can't believe this. I don't agree with it, or whatever. Or look at what this person's doing, or look at what this politician said, or whatever. And I think, I'll make fun of both ends. I've made fun of Trump and Biden, but like, I would never like go on someone's page and be like, why are you using that filter? Why do you have big boobs? Why did you get ass implants? I hate that amount of like just mean, vicious things.
Because you're
people
not
are
saying it
to
in
each-
person.
Right.
You're seeing that person in line at a Starbucks.
Yeah.
You're gonna tell
Tell them that?
Yeah.
You're not, because you don't have the balls to say it.
You don't have the balls to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And talking about politics, do you believe in the election process at all?
No,
I'm
I
with
don't.
you. I heard the term a couple years ago that you're selected, not elected,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And I was like, no, man, this is the United States of America. This is the right thing. The process is proper, and we're doing the right thing. I don't trust it at all.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty pathetic, actually.
I think people like, and even like mayors and stuff, sometimes they're elected and not, they're selected, not elected.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but like, maybe city councilmen, or, people on a school board or things like that, maybe we can pick them. They'll make some significant difference in our day to day.
Yeah.
But like, I voted for Obama because I had the right to vote at the time, and I was of age, and I wanted to go vote, and I wanted to vote for that guy. And then after that, I never voted again.
Why?
Because I didn't trust it, and I didn't even believe in them enough to even vote for them.
You didn't trust the election process or the politicians or all
Both.
the above, yeah.
Yeah.
Politicians.
No one ever made me like, oh man, I want that guy to win.
Yeah.
Nobody. Clinton was great. It was good times back in the 90s. Everybody was happy at the time. I didn't even care about any kind of scandal like that. But after that, after Obama, I just never voted again.
There's a monster divide in our country.
Oh my
Monster
God,
divide.
horrible.
And in my opinion, when you have a label on somebody, so a Republican, an Independent, a Democrat,
Right.
like he's conservative, there is no
that's all we
chance
have.
for unity though.
Yeah,
There's
that's all we
no
have.
chance for unity because you're gonna vote for the party, not the person. More times
Exactly.
than not, right? If you're on
Exactly.
one side. And that creates divide.
Yeah.
It creates the
Yeah,
vibe.
exactly.
So
I don't think we're ever gonna be as unified and accepting and just that sweetness that I want to see in people since 9/11.
man, the '90s were good years.
They were good years.
'90s
They
were
the
awesome
best.
out here.
They were the
How
best.
much fun LA was, California was.
Armenians were thriving
Yeah.
in the mid 90s. I mean, we were just like gangsters.
Yeah.
Like, just holding
It's a
it
good
down,
time.
buying property, taking care of our kids, jewelers, bakers, mechanics,
Yeah.
right? We were just
Yeah.
hustling. And I
Yeah.
love that about our people
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah,
Because those were the best years of my life. I'm so nostalgic when
Same.
it comes to that.
I know.
Yeah.
You can't compare the '90s to 2022, and I think the world has changed like dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Like dramatically.
Mhm.
I think social media has a lot to do with it. Reality shows, music. Music is
Mm-hmm.
just crap. The lyrics in some of these songs are just like, is mind blowing how they're able to
Mm-hmm.
produce some of this stuff. But mental health and eating, the health part of your mental health
Right.
is more important than ever.
Yeah.
Because everybody claims they want to be happy in life.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, you want to be at peace with yourself. And how to be at peace with yourself starts with, in my opinion, is eating.
Right.
And like being around the right people, and because food is medicine.
Yes,
And
it is.
hiking
Whatever you
and
put
working
in,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think they've made everything about food, like, oh, vegan this, Beyond Meat that, and clean eating, and vegetarian or whatever, but it's so not that. That is like a little piggyback of
It's like
what,
a little nugget.
a little nugget of what they're trying to tell you, but
Yeah.
like this, I need women to just, and men too, and men have body dysmorphia, men are hard on themselves. Maybe the guy at the gym who has bigger biceps than you, it's like really pissing you off and making you feel insecure. I just wish that people would stop worrying so much about like waist size, boob size, how broad your shoulders are, how big your biceps are, or your legs, or whatever it is. Like, yeah, I mean, like, look fit, look good, feel good, but just stop comparing yourself.
The competition should always be about yourself.
Yes,
Like,
you
so
with yourself.
You want to be better tomorrow than you were
right,
today.
Right.
And in my opinion, nowadays, you have to work on yourself every single day. Because there's a lot of bad stuff out there.
Yes.
And you can get wrapped up in it really, really quick.
Yes. And even though you're a very, like, level-headed adult, you can get mixed up in certain things, or try something, or do something that is gonna really make your life spiral.
Yeah.
I think.
No doubt.
I don't understand, and forgive me for being naive, but I don't understand how people are just so okay with just doing coke every day.
No.
It just blows my mind.
Isn't that crazy?
How do you do that, like, that recreationally? Like smoking a blunt every once in a while because you had a rough week. Maybe you want to take the edge off. You're at home. You're kicking back. You don't have any responsibilities that evening. You don't have to drive. You don't have to do anything for your kids or take care of your sick mom or whatever. Maybe, yeah, that's fine. And I don't judge you for that because you're an adult and you made that decision to do that into your life. But just like, popping mollies and like doing drugs and just going to the bathroom just regularly on a Tuesday when you're at a restaurant and doing a line. You know what I mean? It's like
Pretty wild.
it's very scary for
Pretty
me.
wild. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I had somebody on talking about fentanyl.
Mm-hmm.
Did you listen to that episode? Were you able to listen to it yet?
No, the one I messaged you about, I
Yeah.
haven't gotten a chance to, but I have to. Yeah.
So my whole thing was, yeah, sure, let's find out what pill is laced.
Mm-hmm.
That was me. Let's find out what pill is laced. Let's find out, whatever. They have a certain amount of products that you can dip and find out if it's laced.
Right.
You can stick something up your nose as a nasal spray if you did get laced with fentanyl.
Okay.
But
like to save your life.
Yeah, save
Yeah.
your life. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool product.
Okay.
But how about we try to
get rid of
get
it.
them off, like the
Yeah.
cocaine,
Yes.
and get them off the drugs.
Yes, not help them not OD.
Right.
Right.
It's wild to me, and I asked her that question, and
Yeah.
she just essentially just said, we don't judge people. You know, we don't judge people on what they do. We just let them allow them to live their life. At least we have this product. But yeah, I'm with you. I've never done drugs in my life. I've never smoked dope in my life. I barely drink alcohol. It's something that I don't need. And when I was growing up as a kid, sometimes in high school, guys were smoking dope, and I never saw real drugs growing up until I was later in life. But guys would at parties be like, "Oh, Mike's coming. Put it away."
Okay.
Like to that level. And back then, I didn't really. I was like, "Oh, that's good. You know, that's respectful. They're doing that. They know I don't like it. I don't like the smell. I don't like doing it. You shouldn't. I tell them all the time, you guys shouldn't be doing this stuff." But looking back at that, that's
pretty powerful.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty cool to you know, and I felt like I was helping them get off of this stuff, not be like, "Hey, dude, only smoke one a week."
Yes.
You know, don't.
Yes. And I like I've been at parties where it's on the table, or like I know they're doing it in the bathroom, and lots of people around me do smoke marijuana like it's a cigarette. I smoke cigarettes. I like to drink. You know, I don't mind, but I like having control over my brain, my how I'm talking to people, the amount of control I have on my body and my my reflexes. You know what I mean? I don't know how people just drink and get pissed drunk.
Or when they're the next day, they're like, "Oh, I blacked out.
Yeah.
That really happened to me." It's like, dude, you lost control of your body.
Exactly.
You're a female. You're in college.
Yes.
You know what people can do to you and take advantage of you.
Exactly.
Like, what? Like, wake up, man. Grow up.
Exactly.
And plus, when they're on that stuff and you're sober, they're not fun to be around.
They're not.
They're really annoying.
And it's very scary.
Yeah.
It could really take a dive.
Yeah.
It could be obnoxious, of course. Yeah. And they're all sloppy and all over the place, and it's really kind of gross.
It is.
And I don't find anyone attractive who can't control themselves when it comes to gambling or drinking or doing drugs or whatever it is, like, or even eating.
Yeah.
I love food, but can you control yourself?
Right.
Or sex, can you control yourself?
Yeah.
Can you keep your hands to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, you can be all of those things. Even in a relationship, you know, like you can be very turned on by somebody or very attracted to somebody, but like have a level of self-control and respect for yourself and me by keeping yourself in your bubble until it's okay for you to be closer to that other person. And so that's why I try to, like, you know, have maybe one glass of wine if I'm out somewhere. If I'm with my girlfriend, sure, I'll have a few cocktails.
You're taking the edge off. You're taking the edge off.
But I'm always together. I don't drive myself anywhere. If I know I'm going to drink, I'm going to be somewhere safe where I know I'm okay. I have my pepper spray. I'm with my girlfriends that I trust. I never go out with a man unless it's a public, bright place during the day. I'll go have coffee with you, make sure you're not a psychopath. And even when I go somewhere with you at night and it's kind of a little unfamiliar, maybe a new restaurant, I'll send my location to my girlfriend or my cousin, and I'm going to tell her I'm here. I've never once put myself in a dangerous situation.
How are you finding guys nowadays? Are you on apps?
I am trying Kyonk, but it is really bad.
Is it?
And
what do you
no
find
offense
on
to the Kyonk people, there's always going to be very few diamonds in the rough, like a needle in a haystack situation. And I also believe that one woman's trash is another woman's treasure. I get it. Not every guy is going to be like the type of guy that I want. But they don't do a very good job at their vetting process. I don't want to see pictures of Denzel Washington and Al Pacino. I know you're not that guy. But they put those pictures on there.
Like it's them?
Like as if it's them. As their profile pictures, like Scarface with the cocaine, that stupid ass picture, or some picture of like Robert De Niro from Godfather when he looked his best. Please don't let these guys put celebrity pictures of themselves on their profile. Please vet them. Make sure they're not married. Make sure they have a legit job. Maybe like put pictures of you working somewhere. Like every guy is businessman. Every guy is businessman.
Yeah. Now
BIZZMAN. MESMAN.
Now, is that a Tinder-like app? Are you swiping?
We're swiping.
Okay.
It's supposed to be like really good. I'm sure there are people who have found great people.
For those who don't know, Gyunk is supposedly all Armenians.
Armenian.
Have you ever found a non-Armenian?
Yeah, there's Bostiks on there. There's Arabs on there. There's some random token white guy on there.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine. Like I'm totally fine with dating a white guy or a Bostik guy or an Arab guy. my problem is not where you came from, it's how you're going to treat me and the quality of the person that you are. And it is really poor quality, I'm telling you. It's like really like swampy people.
Are there success stories on that site that
I'm
you've
sure
heard
there
of?
are,
Okay,
yeah.
you don't know anybody, any friends or anybody?
My cousin met his wife on Hinge.
Okay.
And I know lots of people, even Tinder was supposed to be a booty call place,
Sure.
but lots of people connected and they had meaningful relationships.
Yeah.
Nowadays they're doing matchmaking, which I'm cool with.
Yeah.
I'd want to try.
I mean, it's tough meeting people,
Very tough.
right?
Very tough. Everyone's like, oh, you're always decked out, you're dressed to the nine, you're going to all these posh places. Yes, I am. But I'm oftentimes holding a microphone. I'm there on a professional capacity, and there are opportunities to talk to me when the camera's off. I go sit down. I'm at a gala or whatever
Sure.
it is, or an art show. But I think men and women, but mostly men, because we still expect men to make that step to
Sure.
talk to someone. I think they're really, really lacking the confidence, or they're lazy, or they're just not even really excited about having something that's.
Or they can't hold a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is texting nowadays, so it's hard for.
And there's so many there's so many options. Mike, we can talk to each other on Instagram, Facebook, on a dating app.
Yeah.
People even messaging each other on TikTok. Every 3 or 4 different avenues of communication you can have.
Does it creep you out though? If somebody's gonna DM you on one of those apps?
I mean, I've gotten DMs, but there's nothing. It'll be like heart eyes or like, "Hi, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good. Can I help you?"
Right.
Like, are you asking about the show? Like, why are you messaging me? I mean, I'll be very nice.
Sure,
I'm being a little crass
Sure,
right now.
sure, yeah.
I'll be nice. I'll be very polite. I don't want to rub anybody the wrong way. I don't, because you can take screenshots of things. You can spread misinformation
Sure.
about me. I'm a professional. I'm going to talk to you, and if you have something to say, please. I would love to engage in conversation with you, even if it doesn't go in a romantic
Sure.
route. I'm still being very shanorkov and kind to you and things like respectful. Yeah, shanorkov.
Yeah.
Exactly. So most of the time, they don't say anything that would pique my interest. And there have been a few times where they're very nice and they do say something, but I mean, the chemistry's not there. But I think, and a word of advice to men, I'm talking to the camera when I say this, please treat the woman that you're trying to talk to like they're just someone that you just want to talk to.
Or the person they respect.
Yeah,
Like a
like
woman
a friend
that they respect.
Talk to me like a friend. Talk
Yeah.
to me like say, what's your favorite episode that you've done? Or if you don't know about my show, you can say like, hey, what do you love to do besides working? Like, do you like to go to a baseball game? Do you like to go dancing? Do you take karate lessons or boxing? Something.
Yeah.
Something with some substance.
Yeah.
An open-ended question. Not, hi, you're beautiful.
Right.
Gee, thanks. I know, I own a mirror.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
or lead them to this episode because you were pretty open and transparent.
right?
earlier.
Please go to the link in my bio on how to talk to me.
I'll tell you how my past
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the first 30 minutes
Oh my
of
god,
this episode.
I know. Oh, that would
Yeah.
scare him away.
Do you think they're intimidated by you?
I mean, I've gotten that. I've gotten people who say that to me. I think straight women who are confident and gay women love me.
Mm-hmm.
They love me and they love talking to me, and they see they're like, oh, you're so cool and down to earth and so easy to talk to. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, do I not come off that way?
Yeah.
And then
Well, I think
hear,
your rawness might scare some guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Because you're gonna say what's on your mind, and guys don't like to be rejected.
But then you guys complain and say that we're so elusive and we
Yeah.
don't tell you how we really feel and you guys have to guess. Like I'm getting the guessing game out of
I'm with you. I'm with you for sure. And listen, it's their past too.
Yeah.
So the stuff that they've gone through in the past, I
Yeah.
think it's gonna happen. Everything going forward.
Yeah.
This is my opinion. And so they're like, oh no, I have to really keep it easy and cool because I don't want to be the real person because then I might get rejected and then my self-esteem goes down and I have no confidence.
Even if I was gonna reject someone,
Yeah.
I would do it with so much consideration and finesse.
Yeah. Tell the camera that.
even if I was gonna reject someone, I'm very, very nice about it. I'm very polite. I'll let you down easy, and it doesn't have to be this tragedy. You know what I mean? Like, it could just be, thank you so much. It took so much courage to. Yes.
That's an IG reel right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Put that on an IG reel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you'd be like, hey, listen, dude, if you're gonna DM me, I'm gonna let you down easy and cool. That way, it's like a business card.
Yeah.
That's your new business card right there. Your new dating business card.
Oh gosh, I think you can. I think it takes a lot of courage to just walk up to a person.
No doubt.
And for me, it's so easy to strike up a conversation. I can even make a cute little joke and be really silly and charming and, you know, sarcastic and sassy. But I understand that walking up to a beautiful woman, you know, that taking that deep breath and, hey, how are you? Something like that. Like, I think, you know, we gotta be real here. A lot of women in the last 10 years have had this, like, well, you know, this kind of thing going on. And that's not fair.
And remember, this is LA.
Yeah.
This isn't Texas friendly.
Yeah. Right.
Territories.
Southern hospitality.
This is LA, man.
Yeah.
Good luck going to anywhere in Los Angeles and talking to a cute girl, right? And dudes.
Do you have that problem, Mike? I really want to ask you.
Thankfully, I have an amazing fiance.
I had no.
Soon to
Dude.
get married. Yeah.
Dude. I have not once seen anything. I had no idea.
I told you I don't share that stuff. That's all private information.
Really?
That I don't need to tell
I'm
anybody
so
about.
happy
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank you. Yeah, she's amazing, amazing family. Yeah, blessed.
What?
Yeah.
Congratulations. When did you pop the question? What? Okay.
February. Should we make an Instagram?
Yes.
February of this year. Yeah.
Okay. Valentine's Day.
Getting married in May. Yeah.
Okay.
Valentine's weekend. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
So our first date was at a tiny little sushi place by her place.
Mm-hmm.
And man, so many great stories from that that whole thing. Her dad is awesome, easygoing guy.
Hiya?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. Kept it in the family.
Good.
And so I didn't have his number to talk to him prior to me asking for her hand. And so we're at a barbecue at her place, and I'm going through her nephew's iPad that has 4% battery life, and I'm trying to find her dad's phone number. So I don't know the password of the iPad. So somebody's in the kitchen. I say, "You guys know the password of this iPad?" Yeah, whatever. Right? I hit the numbers, and I look 4%. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to hurry up and get this thing."
Yeah.
Because I'm planning on asking her next week. And I'm planning on asking him.
This whole time you couldn't look at her phone and get her dad's number?
No.
Dude.
Yeah, no. She's always got the phone. She's not always on the phone, but it's always there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So I go through the iPad and I see Dada. That's Grandpa. So I was like, da-da-da-da. Same number as hers. The last 4 digits are different. So I'm just putting that in my head. I think it was like 8387, whatever. So they're like, "What are you doing on that thing?" And I was like, "Get rid of all the apps, put it away." I was like, "I'm trying to see if he's got a game I want to play, you know."
Yeah.
So I put that on my phone. Yeah. Monday rolls by, and I'm nervous, and I've got my finger hovering over his number. I was like, "Do I do it?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna."
Did you already buy the ring? At that point,
I have the ring.
So then there you go.
Yeah, I have the ring, but it's nervous, man. It's a nervous city, right? I'm like going crazy, and so I call him, and he says, "Hello." I says, "Hey, Mr. G." I said, "This is Mike Gabriel. You got a couple minutes? Can I talk to you?" And he says, "What?"
Yeah.
And he was being kind of like standoff-ish. Okay. So I was like, either he doesn't know it's me, or he's having a rough morning.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
And he makes his walk every day.
Okay.
To get his Starbucks with his buddy.
How long have you guys been dating?
3 years.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so I was like, he's like, I've got 15 minutes. I've got a guy at the house. I gotta go. You know, sorry. I was like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, hurry. I was like, man, he's never been that rude to me before.
Okay.
What the hell's going on?
Okay.
I mean, he must know what's happening. He's gonna, you know.
Okay.
So I get there 20 minutes later.
Okay.
And I call him again, and he says, "Hey, where are you?" And I says, "Oh, I'm behind." I said, "Turn around," and I'm here. He goes, "Oh my God, Mike, it's you! I thought it was this sales guy who keeps calling me. He's trying to sell me something."
Oh my God, what?
Yeah. So we sit down and have an amazing conversation.
Oh my God.
As I'm about to ask him,
a
friend of mine that I've known since high school, Chris, I'm not lying to you. I'm ready to ask the father. This guy come, "Mike, how are you? What's happening?" And I was like, I haven't seen
Not
this
a
guy
good time.
in 15 years.
Yeah.
And now I run into him. Wow,
Yeah.
I'm nervous. I'm sweating. I'm, ready to ask the father for daughter's hand. And now
Yeah.
this guy's coming randomly out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's talking to me for like a long 3-4 minutes.
Yeah. 3-4 minutes.
Long.
Yeah.
Long as 3-4 minutes. So then I finally asked Dad. He's obviously ecstatic about it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So then I asked. Now it's Friday night, and I'm a little nervous. I was good throughout the day. I'm leaving my office, and now I'm a little bit nervous. Yeah.
Man, I'm getting nervous for you. They're already
That was a lead
happening.
up.
Yeah.
So I've got everything, and I'm gonna grab her. And we're gonna go to the sushi place.
Mm-hmm. And this is your first date place, right?
Yeah,
You're taking her back to the first date.
that's right.
Okay. Is
First
this your
date.
anniversary?
It wasn't anniversary. No,
Okay.
no.
So
but
she didn't have.
it was Valentine's weekend. I'm ready to go. It was just let's do it.
Okay.
So I told my buddy to record it, kind of be around the corner and just like record us if you can. No problem. He takes his wife and they have 2 different angles, right?
Good.
So my buddy calls me as I'm getting there, and he's like, "Hey, dude," he's like, "You want me to make reservations at this sushi place?" I'm like, "Honestly, dude, at this point, I can't eat. I have no appetite.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it." I was like, "But you know what? Yeah, try to get one." So he calls me back and he's like, "Man," he's like, "I asked the lady, if I get a reservation, my cousin is gonna propose to his girlfriend. If I could get a reservation for 2," and she goes, "Oh, ha ha ha, that's cute. We don't have a reservation tonight." I was like, "Even better. That's fine. No big deal." Like she
Should've
cares.
known, motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, don't care about him or his proposal.
Nice,
okay?
but we have a long roster of people waiting.
Yeah, good try.
Okay.
So we walk down the street
Mm-hmm.
and we're at that area, and she thinks I have reservations at this restaurant,
Yeah.
and I don't. And it was for 8:15, and it was like 8 o'clock. She's like, "Should we just check in early? Just tell them that we're here." I was like, "No. I was like, "No. It's just."
Are you trying to be
sit
outside? Is it pretty
So I'm
outside?
shaking. Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful night.
Okay, good.
Yeah, beautiful night.
Okay. Are you trying to do this at like a park bench somewhere?
No, right outside
The entrance.
the sushi place. Little tiny hole in the wall,
Okay.
cute little sushi joint.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Oh man.
you won't believe this. I'm ready to ask the question.
Okay.
I have her gonna ask, and I was like ready to reach in my pocket.
Uh-huh.
Fire engine rolls down the street. I swear.
You're like,
I was like, somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody. I was like, no way, right? This, and I talked to a friend about that, and he's like, man, that's God just been having a sense of humor, so you have stories to tell.
Yeah, which is why we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, man, thank you for that. So she was ecstatic, as I was. She said yes, and
Yeah. I want to see a picture
right now,
of her.
yeah.
Don't you want to see my reaction?
Oh yeah, you want to do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Even better if you have the pictures of like the actual proposal.
Yeah.
There you
There,
go.
I've got a video that we can probably put stills.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's a. So this was at my.
Aw, Jonah. Beautiful. So, and who's that guy?
That's a buddy of mine, and then
Okay.
his wife's on the other side.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. She's
Well,
she's
mazel
cool.
tov.
Thank you. Thank you. She and how we met was through a friend. I mean, how else are you supposed to meet like good
I know,
people
tell me
nowadays?
about it.
At least there's a vetting process, like you
Mhm.
mentioned earlier. Like
Mhm.
my friend knows that she's a great person.
Yes,
My
that's
friend
the
knows
best
that
kind
I'm a
of
good person.
connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But see, I'm in my mid-30s.
Mm.
A lot of people who are really great that I personally know are already married.
Yeah.
And then sometimes the younger guys are approaching me on these apps, and I'm just like, I don't know.
Give it a try.
No, I'll give it a try.
Give it a try.
If I see that we're connecting
Yeah, give it a try.
and he's really mature and things like that,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't care. There's 45-year-olds who aren't doing shit, tell me. I'll tell you. But
We've got a mutual friend with that same situation. They just
Yeah?
got married this last weekend. Annie.
Right. Exactly.
And
yes.
Eric is an
Amazing guy, I know.
amazing guy. Like,
Yeah.
she couldn't have picked a better guy.
Yeah.
But initially,
What's their age difference?
like 10 years.
Damn. that's-
Initially, she's hating me for this, by the way. She hates this
Annie
topic
looks
of
amazing.
conversation.
No, Annie, that's totally fine. If the guy is younger, he's gonna keep you young. He's gonna make you feel.
Chris, there's no
You know.
better situation. There's no better person.
You know.
Keep her young for a long time, right?
Right.
And he's totally okay with it.
Yeah.
But there's no better person she could have picked than him. I swear.
Yeah.
I thought about that yesterday when they
Yeah.
got married. I was like, man, she could have picked a
Congratulations,
better,
Annie. I know.
a better guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And I
Yeah.
love genuine connections like that. Like because of her, we got to know each other,
Yeah.
and we're here today.
Yeah.
And I love those genuine, real connections where you're like, I know somebody. Maybe it might work out, maybe it won't, but at least
Try it.
you'll give it a try. There's that level of trust and security that you have because there's a mutual friend or acquaintance.
Yeah.
You know, I'm open to things. I'm open to meeting. I want to have that love in my life. I think this like catch flights, not feelings. I don't want to have feelings. Jaded bullshit that people are going through these days are like terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Like stop with the fake. I don't need anybody.
Yeah.
Trust me. Maybe you think like that in your 20s or even in your 30s, but once you're 45, 55, you're
Yeah.
going to want to have
sure.
a companion. You don't have to have a spouse, but you want to have a companion.
Yeah.
It gets lonely out there.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have to just be with someone for a warm bed or whatever it is. Like, try to find a genuine connection with someone to spend time with and travel and cook together and hold each other and watch movies and
Agree.
do all the cute stuff.
Yeah. 100%.
You know, it's
Agree.
just,
It's important.
I miss that.
Yeah.
I really do. And I don't know, it might happen, it might not, but I know I'm not like blocking that from entering my life. It just sometimes it just doesn't work out, and I know it's difficult to find someone. And in the beginning of the conversation we said, well, you know, through our dreams and things like that, things are just meant to be. But I really believe that there are things that are meant to be, but I feel like sometimes you gotta put yourself in a situation where right place, right time, pull the trigger, take a risk, shoot your shot, whether it's like work or friendship or making connections or maybe finding a significant other.
No doubt.
You kind of have to just give that little nudge.
No doubt. Nothing happens without a connection.
Right?
Or opening your mouth. and
Opening your
talking
mouth,
about it.
being there, being present,
Yeah.
being present.
And you know what the number one thing that I've learned in the last few years, for me personally, and I think for a lot of others, and if others are going through it, I hope this helps. Anytime I feel some sort of anxiousness, I'm doing something big.
Yes.
Something big's going to happen. This is why I'm
Yes.
a little bit nervous about it.
Yes.
So just take a step and do it.
Right.
Right? You're thinking about it, you want to do it.
Mhm.
It's something that's in you, but you're anxious.
Mhm.
But it's something big. Something big is going to happen. That's how we grow.
Yes.
That's how we become better humans,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
So
And then you can say like, hey, I did my part. I put myself out there. I know there's a lot of memes out there like, oh, you're never going to meet the right man sitting at home on your couch. He's not going to fall through the roof or come in through the door. But like, just go out and try to meet people, and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Also, if you're young and haven't been married, no kids, nothing's tying you down, move.
yeah.
For God's sakes, get the hell out of LA.
Yeah.
Go somewhere else. Maybe
Seriously.
you'll find something great.
Yeah.
Maybe you won't. You can come back.
Yeah.
Go to Vegas. Go to Arizona. Go to San Francisco. Somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, if you see that your life is not changing for the last 2, 5, 6, 8 years, maybe you don't like your job anymore. Maybe you're really tired of the same thing over and over again. As exciting as LA is,
Yeah.
maybe the right person isn't here for you. Maybe
Yeah.
the right job isn't here for you. Maybe you can go somewhere else and be like, hey, I took up gardening. I took up, some hobby that I would have never otherwise done.
And like you said, LA's not going anywhere.
It's not.
You'll always come back.
You'll
and
always come back.
Fall back, yeah. If you have no ties, that's a
That was the only thing holding me back.
Yeah.
Was like, I have to be near my parents. I want to raise kids here. What if I have a kid and then my parents want to be near their grandchild? Just go.
yeah.
Maybe you can bring someone from New York or Florida or Texas and come back to
Sure.
LA. Maybe you'll stay there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll make it work.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I would tell younger people. That's one thing, and I don't have any regrets, but I wish some things I was a little bit made different choices.
Well, you're gonna say the same thing. You said you're in your mid-30s. You're gonna say the same thing at 45.
Mm-hmm.
I should have done this at 35.
Mm-hmm.
At 55, I should have done this at 45.
45, yeah.
So you're not. You've got plenty left. I know you've got
Yeah.
kids and it's holding you back and all that
Right.
stuff, but I think the thought always is I should have.
Mm-hmm.
I would have.
I would have. I could have.
Could have.
Yeah, and those are all woulda, coulda, shouldas.
Yeah.
But you know,
Do it now.
Do it now. Yeah.
Do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love
This is
that.
cool.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation.
It is like
Where
it
else?
was really
Where else
awesome.
you want to take it? Anything else?
I think one thing I want to close off on.
By the way, are you reading any books?
I'm not. You know what? I don't like to. I'm gonna be really honest. I don't like to read books. I don't have the attention span
Okay.
or the patience to sit down and read a book. However, I read a lot of poetry. I read a lot of articles, and I read short things that are maybe 2-3 minutes long online. And I know it's really like sweet and romantic to open up a hardcover book and things like that. But I just can't bring myself to do it. However, if you notice, I just had a couple of new books over there, and I'm going on a trip, which my suitcase is right there.
Good.
I bought a book to read, and I'm going to force myself to
Good.
read that book.
Yeah.
And it's like a sexy romance, thriller
Good.
kind of thing.
Where are you
So,
going?
I'm going to Iceland.
Holy moly!
I'm going to have one of the things off my bucket list
Good
checked
for
off.
you.
The Northern
Talking
Lights.
about doing it.
Yes.
Who are you going with?
My girlfriend. My
That's
close friend. Anush.
awesome.
Yeah.
Very good.
She's divorced, I'm divorced. We both wanted to go. We're like, you know what?
Good for
Let's
you.
not be here for Thanksgiving. I
Wow.
love Thanksgiving, but I was like, I want to go see the Northern Lights.
Good for you.
I was a kid. I watched Balto. Do you remember?
No.
It was a cute little animated film when we
Okay.
were kids.
Mhm.
It was about a little baby, like a puppy husky named Balto, and he was in like Alaska
Okay.
or something, and he saw the Northern Lights. And I remember being in the little house that we rented before we even came to Burbank. I was like, wow, I want to go there. I was like, I
Yeah.
had like stars in my eyes when I watched it.
What's the
That's-
weather like right now in Iceland?
It's 40s.
Okay.
It's chilly, not snow yet, because I don't know how I can handle
Yeah.
being in the snow. I'm not a snow girl.
Yeah.
I am a LA sunny
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
So,
Warm-blooded.
but I have my coats and things like that. Hopefully, I'll be okay. But you know, I went to Armenia in the cold, and it was phenomenal.
Good for you.
Armenia in the cold is amazing. December 2019, I went to Armenia. I was like crying because I was so emotional. Walking around the streets, seeing where I grew up. Sorry, I'm getting really emotional now because I miss it. But it was really, really cool.
How old were you when you came here?
4.
Okay.
And I went in 2005.
Yeah.
And then I was so happy about the revolution, which is what inspired me to start the show.
Sure.
When Pashinyan came. And I was like, wow, I'm going to finally go. And we planned for me to go in December of 2019. I was going to interview an artist, a painter. I was going to interview Armina Harutyunyan, which was the face of Gucci. She got all this controversy for being a very, very unusual looking woman. And I was going to interview Pashinyan's daughter, Mariam.
Wow.
So I did those interviews in December of 2019, and it was the best time to be in Armenia because we were thriving. There was no war, no COVID. Everybody was happy. You should have felt the energy in the streets in Yerevan. And I would walk and I would see a monument, or I would see Ararat, or I would see, you know, a statue of Mesrop Mashtots or anybody, and I would just cry out of just being so emotional. And I just want to leave the conversation, since we went into Armenia. I'm so tired of seeing Armenia be a place where people escape to because they broke the law here and they're escaping and they don't want to serve time in prison or jail or whatever. This is not a place for you to escape to. Armenia is not a massive grave site for people to be buried in Armenia after living their whole life in the United States. You shouldn't just be buried in Armenia. You should be living in Armenia. You should be thriving in Armenia and helping charity organizations or schools or the youth, or, you know, tumo or a family or building a business, helping the economy. You shouldn't be going to Armenia to die in Armenia. And I went there and I was like, wow, these women are gorgeous. Armenian women are beautiful. And what do I see? I see lots of men who are single, not married, coming here after the war. Not because they're trying to avoid going to the military, because they've already served their time. This is not about that. But I at least wanted to voice how it kind of irks me when I see them coming here and you're leaving those beautiful women back there, and that we've already have a deficit in men because of so many who have died in the 90s, and now this younger generation who will never see their futures, who will never be able to have children or, live and thrive in their country. And now we're gonna have all these women just sitting around with no Armenian men to procreate with. And before anyone calls me, one way or another, this is not about just keeping it with the Armenians, because a lot of Russians are in Armenia now, Ukrainians are in Armenia now, people from Georgia and Jordan and Lebanon, because of whatever happened in Lebanon, they're in Armenia now. We're all gonna mix together. I'm totally fine with mixing races and mixing cultures, but if you could be there and live there and have a career and marry an Armenian woman, there are so many, they're just like it's a feeding frenzy. Yeah. Why not? They're coming here for what? So you can drive Uber? Go drive a taxi cab over there. What are you gonna do here? Trust me, it's not that glamorous to be in LA. People think you're gonna come here, sell some weed, and make $1 million and just live lavishly because of the way that we show things here.
Yeah, right.
Our cars, our outfits, and everything. Like, I just want Armenia to just live and just be happy and be a place where it's like warm and safe for us to be there and start a business and repatriate, like I said, if I didn't have kids, I would move over there, but I have to make decisions with their father on where we're gonna live.
Yeah.
But maybe if we moved back and lived in Armenia, how awesome would that be?
Yeah.
If you can,
Could you
should
see
do
yourself?
it.
Could you see yourself?
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
When your kids are older, or?
Yes. Wow. Or if my ex-husband and his wife want to move to Armenia, let's go.
Wow.
Let's go. I'll put this house up for rent. I'll use the money to live over there. I'll open up a business, whatever it is. I'll do hair. I don't care. I'll do something. I would love to live in Armenia.
So what's holding you back from doing it?
Right now, what's holding me back is the fact that my kids go to school down the street and their dad is here and he needs to see them. So I can't make that decision for my children and me and leave because he's present. If he wasn't a present dad, I'd be like, bye. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I know that was a lot to digest, and I know I was being really aggressive about it, but I feel so bad when I see that Armenians are just going over there and they're collecting their retirement and living there in their 60s and 70s. That's still okay. Like, you still go back, you're living a nice leisurely life in Armenia. But like, when young people are leaving and then only returning when it's like convenient for you, or because you fucked up and broke the law and you ran off to Armenia, I think that's kind of cowardice.
What do you think about guys going there to find a wife and bringing them back here?
That's another thing I have a problem with, like the mail order bride situation. I really don't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like it. I don't think men understand. Men who grew up here, a woman that you bring back from Armenia is not going to fully understand the lifestyle that you have here, or she's going to use you to get the lifestyle that she wants, that she thinks she can have here. If she really loves you, stay over there. Have kids over there. Repopulate Armenia if she really wants to be with you. Do something, make it work. She'll work as a waitress, you'll be a mechanic, or she'll be a seamstress and you'll drive a taxi or whatever. Fucking figure it out.
Yeah. Your parents decided to move here
in 91.
For just the...
We got a green card and we moved here, the whole family, and we busted our ass. And a lot of Armenians, that's what I was talking about, in the 90s, were working crazy hours. My dad and mom used to sew buttons on shirts in our garage to make ends meet. My dad worked in a liquor store, graveyard shift. My mom went to Valley College, put herself through school, learned a language. My dad has zero education, learned English, has a multi-million-dollar factory in Chatsworth.
Awesome.
Because he is the American dream, and we came here and we made an honest living.
How much did he ask from the government?
For what?
Money. 0?
Oh, well, we had food stamps in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, who didn't? No
Same.
problem.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that to get on your feet, of course you should.
Yeah. But
But
it was.
we went
But it
to
was. You were
school.
never relying on the government.
No,
It was
God
net-
no.
you
The
relied
minute
on-
we got
yeah.
here, my grandpa worked as a waiter for 25 years.
Yep.
My grandmother stayed at home with us, took us to school. My aunt worked. My mom worked. My mom went to beauty school. Then she got her bachelor's. She's been working for the county since 1997.
That's awesome. That's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
That's how it should be.
If you're gonna come here and try to make an honest living. If
Yeah.
you want to be a dentist, come here, be a dentist. If you want to be a psychologist or a pharmacist, I know it's hard. You got to take tests and do that.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Make an honest living. Don't come here and think it's gonna be a fucking cash cow and you're just gonna be pulling money just like you're harvesting weed. No,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
That's not how it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. And expect Big Daddy to take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Or come here and say I want a lawful land and I want to be in a land where there's rules and things and I can have safety and law and order, and then fuck things over
Yeah.
and like do insurance fraud the minute you get here and do PPP loans and give us all a bad name.
Yeah.
Like, stop.
Exactly. It's bad.
If you're coming here, come here with the intent to bust your ass, because this is the only place that's going to give you that honest pursuit of happiness. And it's going to give you a great life, and it's going to give your kids a great life. But don't come here to escape. Don't bring your mail order brides here, because I guarantee you those relationships have expiration dates.
Yeah, right.
I think any woman who really loves you would stay over there as well. Maybe you can build something together, come here with a plan, and not just have some wife come over here and she's leeching off of you, and then next thing you're, oh, give me a Gucci bag. Like, bitch, why?
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I just, it blows my mind
Yeah.
the way we think sometimes.
It is.
Armenia should always be this, like, it should be this, like, a mother figure or a grandmother figure that's so fragile and is, like, dying. We're all dying, but, like, that mother or that grandmother is very fragile. You should be giving to it, not taking away from it. You should be contributing to the longevity of their life instead of reaping benefits of it or escaping it or whatever it is.
Right.
Whatever's convenient for you.
Right.
Pretty soon, people are just going to be buried in Armenia, and there's going to be nobody living because everyone's escaping Armenia.
Yeah.
So
It's unfortunate. It is.
I know
It's
that's
unfortunate.
really, like, aggressive, but I
No.
was like, it really bothers me.
No, for sure.
It really bothers me, and
Yeah.
I love when people go build businesses there and give us a sense of hope that you could repatriate. There could be life that is breathing back into Armenia.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at now.
Yeah. Man, living there or moving there, that'd be something. You think your ex-husband would do it? You think he'd be open to that?
I think I've mentioned it to him one time.
Just tell him the Midwest changed on the map.
Yeah,
It's not here.
yeah. He's from Kansas. He would actually. He's always loved our culture and like just the history behind it because he's such a history buff. But I think I'd have to go through his wife. I think his wife and I can talk about it and then just move everybody over there.
Man.
Because she's highest on sea.
Okay.
She's only been here like 20 years.
Okay. So she might be open to it.
She might be open to it. I'd be
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
You know, we can just kind of have we kind of live nearby and
Man.
cohabit, co-parent.
Yeah.
You know, he could raise his kids, I'll raise my kids,
Right.
we'll raise our kids together.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
You know, that's how they used to do it in the villages, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It was very the man goes out and the women take care of the kids.
Sure.
I mean, I'm being, silly about it, but it's doable.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable because I think a lot of people see a better quality of life in Armenia. I think it's so funny. Armenians in Armenia want to come here, and
Right.
the Armenians that have been here for 20, 30, 40 years, they're like, damn, I wish I could go back. And I don't think either one of us are jaded about or being naive about anything. I think one misses one thing and the other one misses the other thing,
Yeah.
and we wish we could switch lives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's the thing? It's like when somebody's listening to you that just moved here from Armenia, are they thinking, man, you're crazy? why would you want to live there?
Yeah.
You know, this is a land of opportunity, and you can do so much here. You know,
I
you're
believe
not locked
Stepan
in.
Partamian had this idea that he was talking about where Armenians here switch. So for every Armenian that comes here, one has to go back. Or if 5 come here, 5 have to go back. Or if 2 come here, 2 have to go back. So that you never empty out that country.
Sure.
And that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
What if we
Balance out
switched
the
homes?
ratio.
What if I went to live in that? He's from there. He just got here.
Right.
What if he came to live in my house and I lived in his house?
Right.
And we're both Armenian and we both want to have a better life. And I think I can have a better life over there, and he thinks he can have a better life over here.
Yeah.
What if we did that?
I'm curious what he thinks.
What do you think?
I'm curious what he thinks about what you said.
Իմ ասածը
Փոխենք տներով։
դե вообще որ Ամերիկայի մեծացած հայերը սպյուրքը ուզում են գնան Հայաստան։ Ինչի ենք ուզում գնանք Հայաստան եւ համաձայն ես թե չէ։
Համաձայն եմ այն առումով, որ կարոտ կա, բայց այնտեղ
I understand you miss it, but
բարդ հարց է, շատ բարդ,
It's a very complicated question.
very complicated and
չես կարծում որ շատ լավ կյանք կարող ես ունենաս Հայաստանում, եթե ասենք հիմիկ բան ես 36 տարեկան եմ, գնամ այնտեղ ապրեմ երեխաներիս հետ։
դա կախված է քո արժե համակարգից, թե դու ինչի ես ձգտում։ Եթե
The reason why I want to
yes, դու ինչ ես ուզում, քո լավ կյանքը ինչ է իրանից
go. What does your life
ներկայացնում։
mean? What does a good life mean to you?
Big house or expensive cars.
No, the quality of my life is having safety for my kids. I think they will have a safer ապահով կյանք, շատ ապահով այնտեղ ապրել, երեխա այնտեղ մեծացնել։
Does he think the war will ever reach Yerevan? Do you think they
I
would
think it
ever?
will.
Ստեղ մարդիկ մենակ են։ Ես
People are
ասեմ,
lonely here.
ստեղ մենակ են, իսկ այնտեղ սենց մեծ տան մեջ այնտեղ ցային կա, ուրախություն
Right.
կա,
Yeah.
մարդ կա,
You get
իսկ
that?
իսկ
Yeah, there's
իսկ
there's
ստեղ
Life
մենակ
is-
են։
life.
There's life. He said people are lonely here. There we are
Gosh,
lonely
it's so
here.
true.
Սոցիալական խնդիրներ այնտեղ շատ է, բայց այստեղ կյանքը նյութական է շատ, որը դու ստանում ես արդեն հոգեպես քո մեջ դատարկություն, չգիտես էլ ինչ լավ ես
Yeah, he's like, you don't know what else to get in your life to fulfill your soul. Everything's material. Over there, it's more real.
For sure.
I believe it.
Հայաստանում spiritual-ը շատ է, էլի հոգևոր։
The spirit is more lively there.
For
And
sure.
we're trying to imitate it here, but we're not because we're busting our asses working all day and stressing.
Man, I
stressing,
don't think we realize what we have here.
Yeah.
I think we take it all for granted.
We do.
All for granted.
Yeah, we do.
And we do not take it we don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Of the stuff that we have here. We have anything in our fingertips. Anything we want.
And we're
at our
still not
fingertips.
satisfied.
We're never going to be satisfied.
Yeah.
That's the American way.
Yeah.
It's very pathetic. It's very sad.
And people who are over there who live more simpler lives, not poor, not like, oh, I don't have bread to put on the table. No, a simple life where it's, you're not longing for things. You have things, but it's, not too much. I think they have the best quality of life. And their children are happy and they're safe and they can walk home. Like this is my street. Over there, less than a mile away is my mom's house. I can walk to my mom's house in 30 minutes, but my children's elementary school is less than 5-minute walk to my mom's house. It's 2 streets over. I said, let Elise walk home. I'm scared. What if
Right.
something happens? What if a van comes and takes her away? Which is a legitimate, fear. But I love the fact that kids can walk home.
Yeah.
And
No
like
doubt.
skip and play hopscotch and like chill with their friends and walk over and have like dinner at their friend's house and walk back home. And
What are his kids like here? Do
how
they
many kids do you have?
enjoy?
One kid?
One
Boy?
son, yes,
Yeah. How old?
5,
5. Okay.
45.
Going to school?
No,
Home?
child.
Okay.
Oh, they have childcare. Okay.
Does
no
he
school.
does he enjoy it here? Does he
I think no, because խաղալու տեղ չկա։
There's nowhere to play.
Ինքը նոր եկել է Հայաստանից։
He just came from Armenia and he's.
Հիմա նեղվում է, որովհետև
He's upset.
ասում է մեր տունը մարդ չի գալիս։
There's nobody coming over to our house. I feel alone.
Ինքը ուզում է ջերմություն։
Warmth. He wants warmth.
It's
More
just the
people
3
around.
of you here
Yes, just 3.
Would you go, Mike?
to live?
Yeah.
No.
You can't.
I wouldn't live, no. I'd visit, but not live.
What about have a house there, go there 3 months, come back?
No. It's too hard. It's for me personally. It's just too hard to get there.
Really?
Yeah, like I like things closer where I can kind of manage, and
Yeah.
if I have to get there, it's easier to get there.
Yeah. I think at least I would start by having a property there and go live there for 3 months out of the year with my kids on their summer break.
There you go.
That'd be something I
A
could
lot
do.
of people do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. Yeah, test it out. See how that goes.
We'll see.
Curious why he came here.
Why did you come in Chamarikak?
Green card եմ ես շահել։
Want a green card?
Մի անգամ գցել եմ, մեկ անգամ շահել եմ ու շանսս ուզեցել եմ փորձեմ տեսնեմ ինչ կփոխվի իմ կյանքում։
Does it go back?
He's like, I just wanted to give it a shot because I won the green card on
Sure.
my first try.
Ֆինանսապես իմ կյանքը լավացել է, հոգեպես հետ եմ գնացել։
Financially, I'm doing way better, but my emotionally, I'm not okay.
Yeah, most of his family's there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think
Just
You will go back or you will stay?
go back.
You want to go back?
After 10 years. I
10
think.
years?
10 years.
After. Because դու կարաս այստեղ ինչ որ ֆինանսապես մի
Because you could get to a goal
մի
financially
բան
here.
ու գնաս քո
Here,
երկրում քո կյանքը ավելի
And have a
quality-ն
better
լավան։
quality life after you have financially set yourself here and then go back, he said.
Did he learn this stuff in Armenia? The
Has video
photography,
has done
video,
so.
Այո, ես այնտեղ
Yeah, in Armenia.
yes.
Hmm.
But
It's a good skill.
I have master
It's
degree of
basic.
applied mathematics and informatics.
Your master's degree in
Uni
mathematics.
Yerevan State University. I have learned.
They're so smart, so
Yeah,
bright,
yeah.
so innocent, so
Yeah.
like
And so much wasted talent or no opportunity for the amount of knowledge
there,
they
yeah,
have.
for sure.
That's the sad part.
You're right.
That's the sad
Yeah,
part.
you're right. Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Բայց ապրես որ եկել ես
Yeah.
ու միշտ կարաս հետ գնաս բայց եկել ես you came here with your skills. You came
Yes,
here with
of course.
goals with your wife. You have a plan. You're going to give it 10 years. You're going to give it your best. You're going to see if it works. If it doesn't, you're going to go back. Maybe.
Նույնիսկ վերջի 10 օրն եմ եկել, որոշում էի գայ թե չէ, որովհետև ես այնտեղ ված չեմ
I didn't have a bad life over there. The
2-3
last 10
տուն
years,
ունեմ,
I was
3
still
հատ
teetering on
թողել
my
եմ ամեն
decision.
ինչ, yes.
Man.
It was a tough decision, even though winning
No
a
doubt.
ticket like that, a golden
Yeah.
ticket,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So,
For sure.
crazy.
Well, we'll
Բայց
figure it out.
բայց
Yeah.
հասկանում ես, որ ստեղ լինելով կարաս ավելի շատ օգնես Հայաստանին, քան Հայաստանում լինելով
By being here, you can help more people over there,
Hmm. Hmm.
but you miss them. Բայց կարոտում ես.
կարոտում ես ու շատ բաներում կորցնում ես այն ինչ որ քո մեջ ունես։
And you lose
Ժամանակի
yourself
մեջ
too.
այստեղ
The things that you
brain
built up
cleaner-ը
over
շատ works։
It's like you degress,
Mm.
but you progress financially.
Hmm.
And then you give money to your family and it's less guilt on your shoulders because you miss them and you're like, well, at least I'm sending them money. I can be of use to them. I can at least feel not as guilty about not being with them because I'm giving them money.
Yeah.
And that's been the struggle with most Armenians that are here.
When he got here, did he find a place right away, like to live?
Yeah, where did you live? Once katak entեղ որ հիմա ապրում եք, like ծանոթի միջոցով?
Ես հայրի մեջ ցկտել եմ ստեղ ապրեմ։ Հա, ինչի, որովհետև առանց հայրի ես կարող եմ մի տարի էլ չկարողանայի
Իսկ ում միջոցով եկաք?
իմ ընկերոջ։
Through his friends'
yes.
connections, he said he had to absolutely live near Armenians because if he didn't, he wouldn't feel at home
Sure.
and it would be very
Of
difficult
course.
for him to stay.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Is he around this area or
Glendale?
or?
Yes.
Good.
Of course.
Yeah.
Ինչքան էլ հայրը
Silly
տարատեսակ,
question, Mike.
ինչքան էլ տարբեր հայր կան ստեղ, ամեն դեպքում հայի հետ մենակ խոսելը քո համար դա
It's
հարմար
Of course.
It's
of course.
comfort,
Like
I
home, like home. Yeah. Yeah.
Ես ստեղ չեմ զգում ինչպես օտար։
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Ah, man. That was great.
I think we're done, huh?
Yeah.
Let's wrap it
So
up.
too. Yeah. That was great.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So great, like so easy to talk to you.
Say likewise.
Yeah?
Yeah, likewise. It was a great conversation.
Yeah.
Cool that we connected.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And thank you for the idea too. I think this is I think everybody learned a little bit more about
Yes.
us. I never talked about my engagement because I'm
Really?
a private person. I
Yeah.
don't like talking about that
I
stuff.
love that you trusted me for that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, why not? I'm proud of her. I love
Yeah.
her. Why
Yes.
why not share good information?
Of course.
It's exciting information. So.
Of course
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And I love having that effect on people because a lot of times people are like, oh, Chris, I could tell you anything. And
Yeah.
I love being that for people. And a lot of times it's always me who's being inquisitive and asking questions and learning from other people's stories. But
Same.
rarely do I get to
Yeah.
tell mine.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
I've
So same with you.
it's always
Cool.
Yeah.
Are we still rolling? Yeah, great. This is such a nice little thing we had there.
Yeah.
Everything's so organic with you. I love our conversation. I hope that we can have people who don't know about me and people who don't know about you listen to the both of us and be like, damn, they're so cool together.
Yeah,
And they're
agreed.
such a great conversation with both of our audiences.
Yeah.
Because I feel like yours is more like Amerikatsi, more sports related, more guys, more things like you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice little connection.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cheers to that.
Cheers.
Awesome.
And thanks for the no sugar coffee too.
Yeah. Took it like a champ.
Did you make it in the same pot?
Yeah, I
You
just
just
added added sugar in my
yours.
cup.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
All right. That's a wrap.
Yes. No. Awesome. Thank you.